Hey, hey, hey. How's it going? Getting everything spun up here. Let me just tweet this out. That seems to help sometimes. And then we'll get going. We are like right on the cusp of a move, you know? Feels like we're trying. I don't know if we have the juice, but it feels like we're trying. Feels like we are trying for something here. I think jobs data tomorrow is going to be maybe enough. I don't know. It's hard to like guess what will be the catalyst. Where's this link? Get shareable link. Stream now. Boom. Best crypto content on YouTube. Oh boy. Now I'm nervous. Now I gotta live up to that. How's it going, everybody? We got the hodl hat on. Let me just say, what's up, Mike? Mickey? Off the bat, I don't necessarily see a lot of trade setups and alts here. Generally, I mean, we'll look at anything, obviously, but just not a lot going on altcoin land. Martin is here. Daniel Sir Sully on Twitter. Thanks for a check on that. Chuck, we don't have the juice, says StackSats. You know, it's interesting. You look at, I was just looking at BITU today. And I think if you like put this in like a pattern matchers textbook, you'd say, wow, this is a perfect pennant, I would think. And they even have this on TradingView. We can go, is it this one? What does it say? Sometimes it like, not that obviously I disagree with what it's telling me here. It's saying that this whole thing's a rising wedge, right? Is that what it's saying? Yeah, rising wedge down there, flag down here. But I would think, is it picking something? It doesn't pick anything up here. I don't know why. You would think that whatever this is would be, I can't draw it on here, but whatever this thing is here, and this is certainly more of an art than a science, but whatever this is, we're clearly trying to do something on the Bitcoin side. That's just BITU. Who cares, right? Whatever. But if we can go to like here. We'll do it here. This is FBTC. Doesn't matter. It's all the same stuff, right? From a trading perspective, I would think something would show up there. It's still showing a target to 120 from the flag, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of strange. Is there something here maybe? Ultra low time frames. It's telling you pennant. Okay, there it is. So it does pick it up. It's a super finicky indicator, but there is an automated way to look at this stuff. I just don't think it's always correct, but it does pick it up on ultra low time frames. It's got falling wedge, pennant, triangle. You know, even the algo is like confused. Like, what is this thing? Is it going to break up? Is it going to break down? So it's good. It's good to see the algo is also confused on what's going on here. But just to the eye, when you're looking at this and you put it online, like, I'm obviously more bullish than bearish here, but that to me looks like a high and tight flag. Hopefully it's not a descending triangle. And when I'm talking about stuff like this, it gets to the point where like we're splitting here so much on what this could be. Ultimately, it's just a wait and see. Look, if this breaks down, that's it. Right? That's the answer. It's like you can sort of guess on what this might be as it's consolidating or as it's about to break up or down. But if I'm ever looking at Bollinger Bands, I love John Bollinger, but if I'm looking at Bollinger Bands, I feel more often than not that it could go either way. Now, there are a few times in history where that isn't the case, where I'm pretty confident. Up here, just because of everything we have not in price, seasonality, end of the month. That stuff to me is more bearish than bullish. The dollar rising. Got a lot of hate on Twitter saying that the dollar rising is bearish for BTC. That's just what past experience tells me. So I don't know. Last chance for 333K. That's right. Yeah, MSTR, I guess earnings today. So that's maybe why it's moving a little bit. Thanks, Aya. SEC drops the most bullish news ever and we're down. Yeah, what did they say that they're trying to convert everything on chain or something? Pretty wild statement. So yeah, BTC just saying like what, you know, even the algo picked it up, right? This flag thing that previously people were calling a cup and handle and or inverted head and shoulders, whatever. Like it doesn't matter because it all measures the depth is the same. It's all bullish either way. That target is still, as it shows up here, is still 150-ish. So that's still on the board. That's still on the table. The issue is here, are we more challenged in the continuation piece? I still think until proven otherwise, this is continuation. Unless we see this break like 116. If it breaks 116, then I like 110, 111, which isn't too far down. It's just like, if we're talking about a setup and a trade idea, I like anything above 120, 119. But until then, it's sort of just like, I don't know, we got to wait, right? This is what people don't like. They hate fractions, they hate probabilities, and they hate that there isn't a clear, like, what do you do here? What do you do here? You just have to wait and see. I think default bullish makes sense. We're consolidating all-time highs. That makes sense. It would make sense for me to see this continue. But it needs a little bit of momentum first to get going. Needs a little bit of momentum. Yeah, there was a lower daily fractal. You could. We're trading this live, and sometimes it's messy like this. Occasionally, you will see fractals go lower. In this case, you didn't get a daily close down here, and you got a lower fractal because the wick is down here. So if you're purely trading the fractals, the system would tell you you don't want, or to move your trailing stop loss all the way down here. It's just, if you're trying to capture the downside potential, you want to see this going to the daily Kijun. I'm trying to find the cloud. You want to see this going to 110. Like, who cares? Who cares, right? So if I'm fine with just leaving, in this specific case, I'm fine with leaving this at the highest fractal and seeing what happens. You can see we're also losing the Tenkin here. This is the second day below. We're also losing the 20-day moving average. This is the third day below the 20-day moving average. And these are all like little tiny signs that maybe everything isn't as bullish as I think, you know? So again, it's just sort of saying to me, wait and see, wait and see. So alts, I'd be very careful here. And if we go on like a low time frame with BTC, I don't even know. Like, this is just chop, right? Is this anything other than a high time frame idea of a flag or something? I don't know. If we go to just somewhere else I can draw. I don't hate this idea that it's some combination of pennant and triangle thing. It's just like, does it really matter is the question. Like, we're trying to label this one thing or the other basically to determine, okay, historically, are those patterns bullish or bearish? But ultimately, in the moment, I think if this breaks 117 on a close, we're in trouble. And if it goes above 119 on a close, we're ready to go. So until then, I just don't see much to do. No, Todd, I'm not really day trading, but a lot of the, you don't win the gold medal during the competition. You win the gold medal in the training camp, right? So a lot of the work to be done on this is not after the move, you know. The work to be done is trying to figure out ahead of the move, is there a bias? What is sentiment? Where do I think this could go? What is the risk reward? And you could pre-position. I don't see a reason against that. You could say, even if we longed right here, even if we were just focused on this pattern. So if we longed here, if we took the 1618, we pulled our stop loss all the way up to like 116, 115.8, like you could trade it today like this. I don't think there's a problem with that. The issue is if you're not trading this on crypto rails, if you're trading this on legacy and your stop loss gets blown when the markets aren't open, what do you do, right? Like the entirety of the move could happen by the time the markets reopen, especially going into the weekend. So it's just tough to trade this if you're trading it, with ETFs or something, right? What's up, Brant? Starting to look like ETH. Chuck Norris is here. ETH before the breakout. Yeah. Like good things happen above the cloud. It's still above the cloud on the daily. We're fine there. We're above the 20-week moving average. There's no issues there. The 20-week moving average is all the way down at, where is it? It's all the way down at 100K now. 101? Good things happen above the daily. Good things happen above the 20-week. But if I'm looking for downside here, 110, 105 makes sense to me. That's the previous all-time high. That's the previous breakout level. Now, if you want to get super, super complicated and complex, you can do some sort of like straddle iron condor idea where you are both long and short at the same time, and you just let the chips fall as they may, and ideally one side of that gets stopped out and the other doesn't. Worst case scenario, you get stopped out on both and the move happens without you, right? Like, so there's always a risk, That's like a sizing conversation. That's a risk conversation. But again, when we're talking about Bollinger Bands, not my favorite time. Not my favorite time. So that just means volatility is super low. And why these are important, you see Bollinger Bands contract when volatility is low, and they expand when volatility is high. And it's like a pendulum, right? So right now we are getting extremely tight on Bollinger Band width. And if we look historically on the daily, it's only ever gotten this tight like a few times ever. So there's a couple times over the past 2 years, and then we'd have to go all the way back. I have to pull up a different chart. You have to go all the way back to like 2013, 2016. I mean, it does not get this compressed. A lot of people are going to come back and say, well, now with ETFs, volatility is going to go down. This is just going to be the norm. That's possible. I'm not going to discount that. But the point is, normally we see a pretty big move after we do nothing for this period of time, right? Yeah, exactly, Karen. What's up, Tikal? What's up, Kalshi? So yeah, that's BTC, and that kind of colors everything, because if you're waiting on a big move here, do you really want to be 50x long some random altcoin? I don't, You basically have to stop yourself out assuming that alts are going to outperform to the downside if everything breaks down, you basically have to stop yourself out of your alt position if BTC breaks 117, 116. That's like the zone. You know, you don't really want to be in alts in here. If we start breaking these levels, probably not going to look pretty for alts. So yeah, that's kind of the whole ball of wax. And we've got Dixie at 100. And a lot of people on Twitter telling me, well, not a lot of people, just one particular person telling me I don't know anything. Dollar going up isn't bearish, it's bullish for crypto, BTC. All right, whatever. We'll see. We'll find out. You know, maybe this time is different. But if we go to 102, I can't imagine BTC is able to hold that level. So I do not like how that looks. And if this was a crypto chart and you're seeing this on the daily, you have a bullish TK cross, price closing in the cloud. You have two patterns down here. What does the algo say? Yeah, algo says exactly how it's drawn. Falling wedge, there's your target, right? So if the question is, if this plays out, is that bullish or bearish for BTC? That's the question. I'm going to say more often than not, that is a bearish that's bearish for BTC. Now you have some people coming back and saying the DXY is just the euro. If the euro is falling, then dollar is rising. I think the euro is getting crushed here because of the trade deal, if I had to imagine. Yeah, so it's exactly the opposite. Most of the DXY is the euro, so maybe look at the trade weighted dollar instead. Somebody pulled that up on the Discord. I don't remember the trade weighted. This is it. DTWEXBGS. I think that's it. So this is the trade weighted dollar. Not as euro denominated, not as euro heavy. Even this thing, like you're telling me I can't go online or candles? Boo. You're telling me that this thing is not an inverted head and shoulders down here? So we'll see, right? We'll see, but seeing the dollar surge for multiple reasons in TA, not good. So that looks really good. There's also positioning. You know, if we look at like the COT data, positioning for the dollar is exactly how you'd see it if you'd expect this to go up. Commercials very long, large spec very short, large spec are almost always wrong. You know, this is perfect right here, right? Large spec was super long here, and what happened? Straight down. They closed their long, and this is all Jason Shapiro's work talking about this stuff. They close their longs and they go short at the bottom, net short at the bottom. And that's why he watches this and trades the whole fund off of it, because the hit rate on this stuff is very high. So positioning is out of whack on the dollar, and BTC positioning is the opposite. It is very net long for commercials. Again, doesn't matter who this is. I don't care. Backtest it. It doesn't matter if it's basis trade. None of that matters. If I'm backtesting, it makes sense and it works. That's good enough for me. And Jason has said the same, because he's got a lot of people chirping at him about the Bitcoin stuff. He's not a crypto person. He's just a data person. So when he's bullish, when the legacy people get bullish on crypto that are usually right, then that's definitely something worth paying attention to. So anyway, that's positioning. ETH positioning doesn't look as good. We get this data on Fridays. It's retail, which would be yellow, is very long, not ideal, and just kind of mixed. So anyway, I don't think I have anything else to say on BTC. Watch the Bollinger Bands, watch the dollar. And you have to get mentally prepared, like today or soon. If we close a daily above 119, what do? Anything? Open, add, subtract? That's up to you. I like leverage above 119. And if you are in positions today below 116, what do? Do you trim? Do you close? I don't like shorting most of the time. This would be one of those times. There's good times to short crypto, and it's not during the bull cycle most of the time. All right, let me catch up with chat. Hash ribbons buy signal. Yeah, they are a buy signal, and that did trigger the other day. What's up, Dr. Manhattan? Do you think... Yeah, Sweet Green. What a disaster that thing's been, huh? Right, that's a great example. I personally love seeing things fail because that just goes to show you, no matter what you think the TA is, like there's always cases where anything can happen, right? So for me, from the risk like sizing perspective, it's like, okay, here's a great example of why not to go full account long anything ever. It was the best setup. I still think it, even today, it's the best looking setup leading into the breakout and breakdown. It's just, it didn't go anywhere, right? Now it's down 25%. So I closed mine out at like 13.6, 13.5 from 14.6 on the open. I think if you wanted to get back into this, you'd want to see this back in the cloud, back above 14.9. But before then, yikes. Just a lot of the earnings stuff on the consumer discretionary side has been not great. So I think that's not helping here. This has earnings on the 7th. So maybe you see something around that date as far as volatility, but yikes. Yikes. What else we got? MSTR, yeah, we can look at that. Aren't you spooked? Yeah, we just talked about the dollar. Yeah, dollar. I don't know, that one guy on Twitter made me feel real bad. I was bullied. You'll check out my list that I'm watching. CFX, ENA, H-bar. Yeah, ENA has done, sometimes it's, we can talk about alts, I guess. Sometimes it's random stuff for whatever reason. Where is it on my list? Here it is. ENA has done well. It broke out back here. It helps that it's ETH related, ETH beta. ETH has done very well. Not all ETH beta has done as well as ENA. It helps that they have like some sort of treasury initiative or something. It helps that the stablecoin stuff took off legislatively, right? Like there's all these little things that probably have helped here, but it clearly has outperformed most things recently, right? Even today it's up, it's green, everything else is red for the most part. It is pouring out there. So yeah, I don't see anything to do on ENA. I'm personally just holding it, waiting to hit the zone. That's it. I don't really care about anything else. So I'm lucky that my largest alt bag is ENA. Not because it grew that way, just because I was buying like back here. I think I started, it was somewhere like here, and I just scuba dived for a good long while and held it. Mainly because ETH, I was pretty sure ETH was going to move. So anyway, let me get rid of all this. Yeah, it looks good. There's nothing to say, nothing to do. I don't like fresh trades up here. Like it's late, right? So most charts on alts are down here. They just haven't done anything. Curve has also done well. Same deal, like at 70 cents it broke out. I don't like this head and shoulders-y type thing, you know? Not a great look. So I perpetually like strength. So I wouldn't add here personally. I like anything above $1.06 or something, whatever that is. And then I think CF Conflux, right? Yeah. Yeah. Not really much to do. Way past the target, which is good, but you know, buy, sell, or hold. Definitely closer to a sell and a hold than a buy to me. Unless you're convinced that this particular thing is gonna like outperform the world, then you're trying to look for rotations at this point. And maybe you trim 50% of it and you keep 50%, right? It's up to you, but what is like a high time frame? Still hasn't broken. Do we call this, do we call this thing a wedge? Maybe. What does the algo tell us? Oh, there you go. It's a good little like mini pop quiz for yourself. Is my pattern matching algorithm as good as the actual algorithm? So anyway, it's pointing to some higher targets there on CFX. I just think you have to be patient, because if August and September is as bad as it usually is, then it's going to be a very long and boring couple months here. Yeah, you could hedge. I don't talk about hedging a lot just because it's hopefully the rain is being picked up on stream, and hopefully I don't get washed away. You could hedge. Anything you do is it costs something, right? So if you close, if you trim, if you open 2 trades at once, if you are hedged, so you just have to understand that. For most people, doing nothing, doing stone cold nothing, is probably the best approach. So let's just be clear. But one thing you could do is hedge a portion of it with some amount of leverage and say, okay, just in case this does drop and you're default bullish, you could hedge out a percentage or all of your portfolio with BTC in cash denomination, right? Just so there's not more volatility on top of that. But yeah, you could absolutely do that. Nothing wrong with that either. Absolutely. Yeah, ENA entries. I just feel like it's late. The hour is late on ENA. That's why, beyond technicals is why this kept going. But admittedly, for this specific case, it was the fundamental arguments based on funding for ETH and based on ETH's bullishness why I thought this thing would run. But for any of these charts on the daily, just like Bitcoin's 110, ENA is 46 cents. What is this 4 hour? Yeah, I don't really see anything there. Yeah, so 46 cents would be a level. Breakouts fail a lot of the time, says Joey. Don't say that, Joey. Don't say that, bro. I'm a breakout trader, man. Come on. I think at this point the rain is louder than my voice. I think. Solana diagonal. All right, yeah. Let's just go down the list here. All right, ETH. I don't see anything on ETH, and at this point, just like the S&P, just like the Nasdaq, if you're trying to set yourself up for the best risk reward, entry, exit, stop loss, even if we're just looking at this down here, this range, we hit the range, right? So I say this a lot, but like, what else do you want? This was the consolidation. This was the breakout. this was the expected breakout. This was the level. The next level, based on this potential pattern, what does the algo say this is, by the way? Let's take a look. They call it, ladies and gentlemen, they call it an inverted head and shoulders. Look at that. Anyway, even using the algo, right? The target is like 4,400. So, fine, right? If that's the expected move from here, is it worth it? Is the question. And it could always be worth it because you could just say, all right, here's my entry, here's my setup. It's just a matter of confidence at this point. I think we're gonna get a fractal here at 3687. So like for some people, this trade is good enough for them. For some people, this is a great setup. For me, I'm just like, I was talking about it down here. It was consolidating, caught the breakout, et cetera, et cetera. So like, yeah, there's a little bit left. And it's a sizing conversation. Do you really want to go back in full size here with this trade, this setup, despite maybe catching this, maybe not down here? That's up to you, right? This is what trading is all about. So yeah, there's a little bit of juice in the tank here on ETH. I think on the BTC side, it's a little less. Let's go to. Is it this? Yeah. On the ETH BTC side, you're basically there, And again, what does the algo say? This is fun. I like this. Algo's confused. Algo cannot see anything, apparently. We beat the algos, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's saying that algos are coming for you. False. Why is it not able to read anything? Oh, maybe? No, it just can't. Something must break with the pair or something. Anyway, even if we give this a generous measurement, so the ETH USD generous measurement is this equivalent. It's the entirety of the range. We basically tapped it. Ideally, you're in the zone somewhere when you finish the idea. But again, like here today, buy, seller, hold, open, close. I don't know, And if we're talking downside risk, pre-stop loss, it's the daily Kijun, right? You can definitely hear the rain. Yeah, this indicator on TradingView, I don't think it's in the free version of the, if you just type in indicator, or sorry, chart pattern. It's whatever this is. And then inside the indicator, you can like distinguish, you can turn on and off whatever you want. But I don't know if that's available for all accounts. Haven't talked about Grab yet. We'll take a look. ENA trade is well over with, says Market Garden. Could be. Yeah, there's definitely some storms here, Matthew. All right, so that's ETH BTC. I just think it's tough. Just because you're basically almost there on both charts. Unless you want to trade this little mini pattern. I don't know, it's tough. Higher highs, sure, but yeah. Sol, not really much to say or do here. What is this? What is it calling this? Nothing. Oh, it's still calling a falling wedge back there. What is it calling any of this stuff? Falling wedge there. Yeah, I don't really have any bright ideas for Sol. I've said previously maybe something like this. Something like that. Ascending triangle type vibes. I got nothing. Sol BTC still in the waiting room. A very clean downtrend though, so that's good. makes the entry easier. Any creep in here, any higher highs in here would be great. And ultimately anything above that, and you're probably go time, which is quite a bit a ways of from current price. That's like 10%. But if you can get some good curling and squirreling, you know, something like that. Where does this actually measure? Yeah, somewhere up there. It's like, today, what do you do? I don't know. It's not for me. There's nothing to do there. It's nothing to do. ENA was just spot. Sol ETH. Sol ETH does have a bull div. If this can hold, previously that bull div lasted months, so who knows how long this is going to last. But again, it's like, is this enough confidence to sell all of your ETH and buy a bunch of Sol? Doesn't look great on this pair, doesn't look great on BTC, and doesn't look great on USD. That could change tomorrow, but today, I got nothing. Sui has also kind of been interesting in that it looks a hell of a lot better than most charts. It's still where you want it to be, above the cloud. So what is it calling this? It's calling this a rising wedge? Get out of here. See, sometimes, how is this a rising wedge? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Now it's just me fighting with the algo. Algos versus Josh. It literally points to 0. Yeah. I guess because you made a higher high, technically. Whatever. I don't agree with that. I see more of a very challenging head and shoulder, cup and handle formation here. But anyway, it's above the cloud. And that's, if we go down this list quickly, LTC is above on the daily. Link, kind of a double top, maybe a falling wedge. Nothing to do here. It's above. Aptos, far below. Being dramatic. Maybe not far below, but it's below. It's not hard, right? Everybody saw the ENA chart. You want this right here. This is where you want it. Right in there. Right in that little scribble. Not there yet. Ondo is above, but still in the range. HBAR has done well. It's just like, right, like buy, sell, or hold. What do you do here? I don't know. Do you add? Target is slightly higher. And we're repetitively getting in this this wishy-washy zone of, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, So like, I don't know. I don't have anything strong to say. Maker's gone nowhere. Sadly gone nowhere. Algo looks like death. ADA dots say admittedly also looks decent. I'll move it up here. It's above the cloud there. But again, like, what are you going to do with this? You can see a little bit of a head and shoulders thing going on there. So I don't know, but that's most of the alt market. And if we go to memes, it doesn't get much better. Doge pulled back a ton. Shiv back in the range. Pepe back in the range. Bonk pulled back to the Kijun, at least. There's an idea. Whiff just in the range, not doing anything. I wouldn't expect Sol memes to take off until Sol finally gets out of the range. So can you really expect Whiff to randomly outperform here? Probably not. Floki back to the Kijun. So I don't know. A lot of this stuff is just whatever. I got nothing. Lido also pulled all the way back. Someone was asking about that one. I got nothing. You're either buying like the middle of the range, you're buying the daily Kijun, you're buying some VPVR level, but I don't. I got nothing. Maybe a falling wedge on lower time frames. What does the algo say? Oh, bullish flag. There you go. Look at that. It's got like 25 different targets there for different patterns. So the algo's more bullish than I am. It is like higher, 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 higher for a lot of reasons. That's fair. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. So it just depends. It got that one way wrong so far, but it just depends on your conviction. What else we got? Where are you at with ETH treasury companies? Oh man, I think you kind of have to deal with these on a case-by-case basis, because some of these most of them don't look great, we'll just say that, but at the same time ETH has done nothing recently, right? So again, can you expect these to randomly outperform? Probably not. If these are truly bullish, you need to see something on low time frames, and we can just draw a simple diagonal, say okay, the cloud's right there on the 30-minute, the diagonal's right there, whatever. You need to start somewhere to draw the line in the sand. So clearly there's nothing going on here just yet. SBET, same deal. It had a great period of bullishness and has pulled back. And you're hoping that that is not a head and shoulders at the bottom there. You're hoping, because that if that's the case, that does not look good. So these haven't really done super hot recently, but neither is ETH. It's just kind of chopping around. Not saying that breakouts are bad if they fail 65% of the time, but if you're making a 3-to-1, you're printing. Exactly. And that's again what people, they get hung up on technicals because they think everything is black and white, and they think probabilities don't matter. But you want your winners to overperform relative to your losers. That's it. As a poor, I can confirm it's not free. Carlin and Squirrelin. Hype. Now we can look. Yeah. So you either want a breakout trade, or you want a continuation setup, something. It's clearly not a fresh breakout here. So what is there to do? I don't know. Like, it looks fine. You can just continuously bid the Kijun and be happy, right? I don't have anything specific. Let's see what the algo gods say. The algo gods, the algo gods are calling a falling wedge breakdown to 17, 15. Not saying I agree with that. Before this broke up, I had this drawn in as like a head and shoulders. Didn't break down obviously, but I think there's a div. Yeah. So you do have a div here as well. Like, is this enough? You had a div back here. You've got another div here. I don't know. It doesn't inspire confidence in me that this is going to keep going. Just on technicals. Yeah, XRP has done nothing. It briefly made an all-time high, pulled back. I got nothing. Yeah, AVAX. A lot of these charts, if we just go to total 2, I talked about this yesterday. Total 2 You know, you look at this and tell me that's not a double top, right? Yeah. Boom. Gotcha, Algo. Gotcha. It's calling the inverted head and shoulders, fair. And then it's calling the double top, right? So if that's the index, if the index is double topping, that's probably what most charts are going to look like. So a daily key June on this would be fine for a pullback. Sui and Aptos part of the AI. Yeah, I mean, there's a few more. FET hasn't done anything really. Ocean hasn't done anything. So, yeah, there's a few of them. Would recommending another YouTuber's analysis of a 2 hour of a live stream be better to explain a view and outcome that is seen as disrespect? What? Would recommending another YouTuber's analysis 30-second clip out of a 2 hour to better explain a view and outcome is seen? I don't think so, Marley. I welcome all opinions. All opinions. I learned something either way. Do you follow the news around the coin XRP? I am not a news trader, so I don't trade on. I'm really bad at it, so I just don't do it. That's it. H bar, yeah, we looked at H bar. It looks fine. It's just, does anything here look like it's ready for continuation? The only thing that's setting up for that to me is BTC, and that's at a higher high. That's it. Everything else here looks like junk, to put it mildly, right? It just, I got nothing. Not right now, not today. Pump seems bottoming. Let's take a look, chat. What do we see? What do we see? Let's go to the 4 hour. No, let's go to the hourly. I mean, it's trying, but again, like, what is the high probability setup here? You're back in a multi-day range in this case, which doesn't really mean much, but not the look you want to see. You don't want to see, in this case, something consolidate and pull back all the way back to the range. It's the same reason why on the sweet green chart, you don't want to see this. This is a multi-month consolidation that broke out, failed, broke all the way back down. You know, that is not why you're here, to deal with this nonsense, right? Like, you do not want to trade this. You do not want to trade XYZ. I'll bring it up every time somebody asks. You do not want to trade this mess. It's just not worth it. Yeah, I assume the unemployment number is going to do something, but I don't know. Why things dropped off a cliff on the 23rd? What happened on the 23rd? Like total 2 or just generally? A lot of the alt performance has been relative to that 80K BTC being sold over the past 2 to 3 weeks, right? That's kind of it. Somebody asked A and F. Yeah. Unlike almost everything we've looked at, it's peaking above the cloud. You just got to be careful with the consumer discretionary stuff. Now, A&F had a monster rally back here, right? So it has a history of doing really well. Then it broke down kind of SMCI style. Yeah, I mean, look, this is this is the type of stuff I like. This is what you're looking for if you're trying to trade the trend. It's the same reason I like Moderna. It's giving back a bunch today, but you know, it's kind of right there on the cusp of trying to break up. Doesn't help we're seeing dilution. Yeah, on the, I assume you mean the ETH treasuries. Yeah, for me, mRNA, like, hasn't really broken out yet. Now, you could say there was a consolidation down here, and you don't want to see it going below that level. And that's, I would absolutely agree with you. So, you know, we both haven't broken out yet, and we're sort of back to the breakout level of this mini consolidation. So, not like a slam dunk idea anyway, but this is the type of thing, if you're going to shoot your shot, it's stuff like this. What does it say? Let's take a look at figs. What does it tell me figs is? Let's go ultra high time frame. Anything? No. Boo. Boo, algo. There we go. There it is. Falling wedge. Target. Boom. Love it. Love it. I choose to ignore all bearish chart patterns if I'm in a position. Rivian. What do we got? Okay. Little triangle action with the target. Love it. How would I find financial freedom if I had to start over? Crypto is now late and scam. Oh man, that's a tough question. I think you just mine fiat and buy BTC in a bear market. That's your best bet. DCA and buy in a bear market. Yeah, the quantum stuff, it started to look really good. And then, like, kind of everything, it just stalled a little bit. So collectively, is there anything here? I don't know. Rigetti, maybe? It's trying to break out. It's back to the level. So it's trying. This other stuff, you could draw like Adam and Eve here. You could draw Head and Shoulders here. I don't know, not great. Not a great look for the group here. Hey Tom, we got to get together. I got to hook up with you and talk about a collab on stream. Yeah, we talked about hype. Again, I don't have anything to say. If we don't have multiple years of data, it's very hard for me to it's very hard for me to like really put TA on this. Even if we go to like what, the 4 hour? There really hasn't been anything. It's had a trend, then it's chopped a lot. I don't know. I just don't have anything. Zora, yeah, it's funny. If we look at, was it this? No, where was it? I pulled up this today because it was on my list, but again, I say this all the time. What more do people want? This was up 800%, 400%, 200%. I mean, what do you want, right? You know, people chase this. People might chase this and do well, and they might add on the way down. But the reality is, this thing is up 800% in like 15 days, you know. I would just be careful. I would be careful. Looks kind of rough up there. Looks kind of rough up there. What's my ETH target? I mean, we can ask the AI, not the AI though. Let's ask the algo. Where does it think ETH is going? Let's take a look. Ooh, that's not good. Come on, algo. Boo. Daily? No. It's just pointing everything down. So I would read this as an ascending triangle, and it may take another cycle for this to play out. I have no idea. Okay. But similar to LTC, you've clearly got a level that the market has sold off. And you've got, I got to go in 2 minutes, but thanks for hanging out, everybody. You've got a level that, a rising support in a level where not much has happened, right? So if we take the depth of this, just roughly 10,000, but it may take another 4 years. You know, I think in the near term, seeing this is possible, like a multi-shouldered inverted head and shoulders over whatever period of time. You're either in that camp or you're in this like broadening wedge idea, which is a nightmare to trade, but at least it has there's a clearly defined resistance here at 4K, you know. So there are a bunch of things I didn't get to. What I'll do is I'll watch the stream back and do these on Monday again. AMD. Yeah, AMD's been a huge trade, right? Pulled all the way up. But again, what more do you want here is the question. Yeah, ACHR I hopped out of. Grab was another one someone was asking. Grab, I'm still holding this. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be okay. But again, this consumer stuff has really taken a hit. You know, this, unlike Sweet Green, which is a couple months, this is like 8 months consolidating. Not a great day, obviously, on earnings. Not a great day. Yeah, QD. It's probably my smallest position in my portfolio, but it's done great. It's done real good. Yeah, BM. I think you need paid trading view for that. Remax. I know you've asked a couple times. We'll just take a look. Yeah, I don't hate it. Anything closer to like 47? I don't know. What does the daily look like? 45? Yeah, it's pulled back quite a bit, huh? I'm still holding it. I don't care. I like the high time frame stuff. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Have a good one. And we'll talk Sunday for Setup Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.